Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a variant of the IWC Big Pilot's watch that was launched in 2021. Green. It's a sign of the times. We've got it on the dial. This is the Big Pilot's watch, reference 5010-15. So the timepiece remains big and a pilot's watch, which means in stainless steel. This aviator is 46.2 millimeters in diameter, 15.5 millimeters thick. From lug to lug, 56.3 millimeters across the wrist, and it has a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll zoom out a little bit, put it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and, well, it's living up to its name. A plus-sized pilot. You can see that it is too big for me. At least I would say it's too big for me. I think you need a wrist of 17 centimeters circumference or larger to wear this with a reasonable appearance of proportion. It's not as thick as it could be. Certainly for the size it is, it's not thick, but it is very broad across the wrist. Everything is of the highest grade, however. You can see this is an IWC factory strap in very good condition. It's calfskin brown on the top. It's calfskin brown on the bottom with a contrasting stitch. That's aviator style calfskin with a contrasting stitch. A simulated rivet fixture system. It's bound by its stitching, as you can see, though the rivets are a wonderful nostalgic touch. There's a large deployant clasp, a single fold with satination on the outside, a little bit of polished highlights. On the inside, media blasting and polishing. This is your protection against dropping the watch. Of course, the strap is thick cut, many layers of leather, substantial, secure. It fits a watch of such large proportions and dimensions. The watch, nicely detailed in spite of those proportions and dimensions. You can see that there's a nice hairline polished bevel along the case band that flares a bit at the tips of the lugs. The lugs have a nice gradual taper to them, and they are integrated into the case band. Of course, the Big Pilot's watch, launched in 2002, is a homage to the World War II era BUR, or the Beobachtungsuhr, observation watch used by the Luftwaffe. That is what it is. The modern day watch has no particular politics, though it's well loved by those who enjoy aviation history and have a wrist to match. Taking a quick look at the dial of the watch, it is instrument style, meaning a lot like an analog instrument that you would find on the flight deck of a 20th century aircraft. We have a screw-down crown, an exaggerated diamond-like form with a sharp knurling that makes it a pleasure to grip. It is a screw-down crown, and this watch is 60 meters water resistant, so on a different water-resistant strap, this would be a watch that you could take swimming. Jump into the bezel, you can see that it's stepped in from the case band, which has the effect of making the watch appear a little thinner than it is. The lip of the bezel, kissing the crystal, is polished, and then the dial is a metallic sunburst green. It's a lot brighter than British racing green, so it's not quite BRG, which is a fairly dark and non-metallic green. This one has a metallic luster to it. It's almost like a metallic Kelly green, as I see it here. There's a sunken subregister with a concentric pattern for the 7-day power reserve. We'll do a quick loom shot here. And you can see it's loomed at the four corners as well as the broadsword style hands. The watch has a counterweighted lancet style seconds hand. The timepiece does feature a stop seconds function. It also has a quick set system for the date, so you can rapidly set the date if you wish to do so. Screw that crown back down, turn it all over. I should mention the watch has a feature that's not readily visible here, and that is a resistance to expelling its seals or its crystal if it is in an aircraft cockpit or cabin that explosively decompresses. I don't know how you will fare under those circumstances, but your watch will be fine. Underneath the solid case back, we have a movement properly size to suit. This is the IWC manufactured caliber 52110. It's a bidirectional automatic winder with the IWC Peloton pawl-based winding system, which is both shock resistant and very efficient. 7-day power reserve, automatic winding. It has stop seconds, a quick set date, 2 mainspring barrels. Previous pre-52,000 series versions of this movement were just as large and had just as much power reserve, but they had a single barrel. With the 2 barrels, you get a more even torque release, so the watch doesn't gallop and run fast when it's fully wound, and it doesn't slow down unduly when it's largely discharged. Also, the 52,000 series features a 4 hertz beat rate, or 8 beats per second. Previous versions of this movement were 6 beats per second or even 5 beats per second. So this is a modern high beat rate. The hairspring is a handmade Breguet overcoil, and the watch is adjusted in 5 positions. So in just about any position, the watch is going to keep very even time. 5 position is the chronometer standard of adjustment, and it is also used on high horology watches, as well as this timepiece right here. It's a 31 jewel movement. It is very large at over 37 millimeters in diameter. It is properly sized to suit this case, and the balance is free sprung for greater precision of adjustment as well as shock tolerance. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this IWC Big Pilot's watch.